Have you ever wondered if the universe is trying to talk to you, but you just didn't know how to listen? Maybe it was a weird coincidence, a number that kept popping up, a song that played at the exact right moment. Maybe it was a gut feeling you didn't follow, or one you did, and it led somewhere surprising. Whatever it was, part of you paused, questioned it, then probably brushed it off, thinking, that's just random. But what if it wasn't? What if none of it was random? What if you've been in a two-way conversation with the universe your entire life and just didn't know it? Every single thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion that pulses through your body, it's all being received, picked up, processed, reflected back, and most of the time, not through lightning bolts or burning bushes, but through patterns, energy, repeated experiences, unexplainable timing. And the real trip? Most people never notice. We go through life assuming our thoughts are private, our emotions fleeting, our words inconsequential. We think we're walking through a world that's separate from us, reacting to external forces we have no control over. But reality isn't something that happens to you. It's something that's being shaped by you every single day. Whether you know it or not, you are communicating with the universe, and the universe is responding in kind. Here's where it gets wild. It doesn't respond to the words you say. It's not about mantras or affirmations, at least not on their own. It's not about begging for things to change. It doesn't even care about your conscious goals as much as it cares about one thing, your energy, the dominant frequency you're living in. Not what you're saying, but what you believe, what you feel, what you carry inside when no one's looking. That's the language of the universe. It speaks vibration, and that's the language most people have never been taught to speak fluently. You could spend your days saying, I want abundance, but if your core belief is, I never have enough, guess which one is louder? You can visualize love and whisper affirmations into the mirror, but if you're still harboring resentment, insecurity, or fear, your energy isn't aligned with receiving the very thing you're asking for. This is why so many people struggle with manifesting, not because it doesn't work, but because they're trying to talk to the universe using words, while their energy is screaming something else entirely. This is why life feels like it repeats itself, why we keep attracting the same kinds of people, the same money issues, the same emotional roller coasters. People don't realize that they're sending out the same signal over and over again, and the universe, in perfect precision, keeps reflecting it back. Not to punish them, not to trap them, but because that's how energy works. Like attracts like. It's not karma. It's not judgment. It's resonance. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how two people can go through the exact same situation and come out with completely different outcomes? One finds an opportunity. The other hits a dead end. One person walks through life with ease, while another always seems to be fighting the current. That's not luck. That's alignment. Their inner state is tuning them into different frequencies. One is attracting flow, the other resistance. And it's not personal, it's energetic. Every emotion you feel is a vibration. Joy vibrates high. Gratitude opens doors. Love expands your energy field. On the flip side, fear contracts it. Doubt lowers it. Resentment pulls you into the same cycles over and over again. And the universe doesn't respond to your mask. It doesn't care about how positive you're trying to be. It tunes into what you actually are. Right here, right now, underneath the surface. And this is where most people get stuck. They think if they say the right words, fake the right move, or force themselves to feel good, they can trick the universe into giving them what they want. But energy doesn't lie. You can say, I am confident 1,000 times. But if you're carrying years of self-doubt and shame in your body, guess what you're still broadcasting? The universe hears that, not the words. But this isn't bad news. It's the opposite. Because once you understand that your energy is the message and you learn how to shift it, you can literally change everything. The experiences that come into your life, the people you attract, the money, the opportunities, the love, the healing. It all begins with one thing, your state of being. The question isn't, is the universe listening? It's always listening. The real question is, what am I really saying with my energy? When you change the question, you change the power dynamic. You move from victim to creator, from wondering to knowing, from hoping things work out, to watching them unfold because you made the shift. You can feel it when someone is magnetic, when they walk into a room and everything seems to bend around them. That's not just charisma. That's energetic alignment. That's someone who's congruent inside and out. They're not trying to fake high vibes. They are high vibe. Not because they're better or more spiritual or luckier, but because they've become aware of their signal and they've learned how to tune it. And the crazy part? You already know this. You've felt it. You've had moments where everything just clicked, where you were in flow, where the right people showed up, the ideas poured in, and life felt effortless. That wasn't random. That was resonance. You were in alignment, and the universe met you there. That's how this works. But you've probably also had moments where nothing seemed to go right, where you were stuck in fear, frustration, or doubt, and every step forward felt like a struggle. That wasn't punishment. That was your energy reflecting back to you the state you were in. It was a mirror, and mirrors don't lie, but they can be changed. When you shift your inner state, the outer world shifts with it. Not always instantly, but inevitably. And that shift doesn't require you to become someone else. It requires you to become aware, to recognize the patterns you're stuck in, to ask yourself not just what you want, but what energy you're being. Because the universe isn't responding to your wishes. It's responding to your frequency. That's the secret. And here's where it gets even deeper. The 3 most powerful ways to tune your frequency, to truly speak the universe's language, are probably the ones you've been told are optional, or spiritual, or mystical. But they're not. They're essential. Prayer, when done right, isn't begging. It's not asking. It's declaring. It's stepping into alignment with the version of you that already has what you're asking for. It's speaking with conviction, not from lack, but from knowing. Meditation isn't a technique. It's a return to the stillness where your truest energy lives. It's how you quiet the noise and tune back in. It's not about silencing your thoughts. It's about becoming aware of them so they stop running the show. Presence isn't something you practice. It's something you choose over and over again. It's how you reclaim your power. Because when you're fully here, now, in your body, in this moment, you're no longer reacting from old patterns. You're creating from clarity. And that's magnetic. When you combine those 3, prayer as alignment, meditation as awareness, presence as power, you're not just talking to the universe anymore. You're co-creating with it. You become an active participant in the reality you're experiencing. And that's what we want for you. That's why we created Insights Academy, a free space for deeper learning, where we share the knowledge that goes far beyond what we can say on platforms like YouTube. Tools, insights, and ancient teachings that show you how to truly shift your energy, rewire your reality, and start receiving what you've been unconsciously pushing away. When you sign up today, you'll also receive a free digital copy of the Kabbalah, one of the most powerful texts ever written on the hidden laws of the universe. It's a gift, but more than that, it's a key. One that can open doors you didn't even know existed. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about becoming high vibe or spiritually perfect. It's about remembering who you really are beneath all the noise. You are a powerful transmitter, a vibrational being in constant dialogue with life itself. And the moment you start speaking the universe's language, everything starts to shift. So ask yourself, what have I really been putting out there? And more importantly, am I ready to change it? Because the universe is already listening. The only question is, are you ready to be heard? There's something you need to understand about the way the universe works. It's not listening to the words you say, it's tuning in to the energy behind them. When you beg for something, plead for it, cry out in desperation, you're not just making a request. You're broadcasting a signal, a frequency of lack. You're announcing to the universe that you do not have what you desire, and worse, you do not believe you ever truly will. Desperation isn't a magnet for miracles. It's a mirror of fear reflecting back your doubts, your worries, your inner belief that you are not enough and that what you want is somehow out of reach. That's why begging doesn't bring blessings. It reinforces the very absence you're trying to escape. True prayer doesn't come from panic. It doesn't come from the illusion of powerlessness. Real prayer is alignment. It's a moment of stillness where you feel the outcome as already done. It's not about asking over and over. It's about entering the frequency of having, of being, of knowing. Because what you are seeking is also seeking you. That desire you feel deep in your bones, that vision that refuses to leave your heart, it's not random. It's a calling. And the way you answer it isn't through desperation. It's through trust, embodiment, and unwavering certainty. The most powerful prayers aren't the ones whispered through clenched teeth in the dark. They're the ones spoken boldly, calmly, as if the outcome is already here. The kind of prayers that don't ask the universe for miracles, but declare them. Declare them with a quiet confidence, the type that says, I know this is already mine. I don't have to chase it. I just have to meet it. But the conversation doesn't end with prayer. Because if prayer is how you speak to the universe, then meditation is how the universe speaks to you. Meditation is the silence that makes space for answers. It's where the noise fades, the mind softens, and the whispers of guidance finally rise to the surface. So many people say they want clarity, say they want signs, but their minds are crowded. Their thoughts are a storm. They're asking for direction, but they're not quiet enough to hear it when it arrives. We live in a world that rewards constant motion, non-stop stimulation, and endless distraction. But clarity doesn't live in chaos. Clarity lives in stillness. It waits for you in the pause between thoughts, in the breath between actions. That's what meditation is. Not just a tool for relaxation, but a sacred space you create to tune in to the wisdom already inside you. To align yourself with the guidance always flowing, always available, but only if you're present enough to receive it. You cannot hear the universe when your mind is shouting. You cannot feel your path when you're obsessed with controlling every outcome. But when you sit in stillness, when you let go of trying to force everything into place, something magical happens. You begin to remember who you really are. Not a being at the mercy of the world, but a co-creator of it. And the answers you've been asking for, they don't arrive as sentences or signs written in the sky. They come as sudden knowing, as a shift in perspective, as peace where there was once anxiety, as inspiration that seems to arrive out of nowhere. But none of this works without presence. The universe doesn't exist in your past, and it isn't waiting in your future. It only communicates through the present moment. And most people are missing it. They're too caught in the echo of yesterday's mistakes or the projections of tomorrow's fears. They don't realize that everything they need is already unfolding right now, right here, in this breath, in this moment. Presence is everything. Because the more present you become, the more you start to notice the subtle ways the universe is always speaking to you. A random conversation that shifts your perspective. A sudden opportunity that shows up when you least expect it. A message that hits your heart just when you needed it most. These aren't accidents. These are answers. But they only become visible when you're awake enough to see them. If you've ever felt like your prayers go unanswered, like meditation isn't working, like the universe is silent, it's not because it's ignoring you. It's because you're not fully in the conversation. You're talking, but not listening. You're asking, but not allowing. You're seeking, but you're doing it with so much noise and judgment and urgency that you can't hear the response already echoing back. The universe is never withholding. It is always responding. But your presence is the key that unlocks that response. Let's talk about your mind, because it's more powerful than you realize. Your thoughts don't just pass through your brain. They shape your life. Every mental image, every worst-case scenario you replay, every scene you visualize on a loop, that's a blueprint. You are the architect. And whether you know it or not, your subconscious is building your reality based on what you keep showing it. Most people are visualizing all the time, but unconsciously. They imagine things going wrong. They see failure. They anticipate rejection. And they feel it, too, the fear, the tension, the anxiety. That emotional energy is magnetic. And then, when their fears start to play out in real life, they call it bad luck. But it's not bad luck. It's unintentional manifestation. That's the power of visualization, but used in reverse. So imagine what could happen if you started doing it intentionally. Imagine choosing what you see, what you feel, what you rehearse in your mind. Visualization isn't just fantasizing. It's activating. When you visualize something vividly enough, when you engage your senses and let your body feel the joy, the gratitude, the success, it starts to rewire your mind. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a memory and a deeply imagined experience. It will begin to shift your emotions, your behaviors, even your biology to match that imagined reality. And over time, your outer world follows suit. But here's the secret. It's not just about the picture. It's about the emotion. You can't just see the dream, you have to feel it. You have to feel what it's like to already live it, to embody it. That's the frequency that sends the strongest signal. The universe doesn't respond to lukewarm energy. It doesn't respond to doubt wrapped in pretty words. It responds to full-body belief, to deep emotional congruence. That's what creates momentum. And this is why affirmations work, not because they're magic, but because they speak to the subconscious. Your subconscious mind is the operating system of your life. It's been programmed since you were a child by your parents, your environment, your trauma, your experiences. And if you were told you weren't good enough, that love is hard, that money is scarce, those beliefs didn't just stay in your mind. They became your identity, your expectations, your reality. Affirmations are how you rewrite that identity. But they only work when the words you say match the energy you carry. You can't just repeat, "I am abundant," if every cell in your body is screaming, "I'm broke and afraid." The subconscious doesn't follow your words. It follows your truth. That's why you have to speak affirmations from the inside out. You have to find even the smallest moment in your life when that affirmation felt real, when you felt worthy or safe or powerful, and anchor into that memory. Let it become the fuel behind your words. Affirmations aren't just phrases. They're reminders. They are declarations of who you choose to be. When spoken with belief, they become seeds planted in the subconscious, gently but powerfully reshaping your reality. They reinforce your chosen identity. And the more your internal belief shifts, the more your external world starts to match. You've already been using affirmations, by the way. Every time you tell yourself, I always mess this up, or no one ever stays, or I'm not good at that, you're affirming something. You're instructing your subconscious to keep creating that pattern. So it's not about whether affirmations work. It's about whether you're using them for you or against you. And finally, write it down. Don't just speak your intentions, write them. There's something powerful about putting energy into form. When you write, you move a desire from the energetic realm into the physical world. It's no longer a passing thought, it's a declaration, a commitment, a moment of clarity that says, I am ready to receive. Writing forces you to get specific, to define what you want, to organize your thoughts, to own your truth. And in that act of writing, you shift your energy. You send a clear signal to the universe that you are serious, aligned, open. Whether you're scripting your future, journaling your gratitude, or pouring out your intentions like a letter to the cosmos, you are speaking in a language the universe understands. Because it's not just about what you want. It's about who you're becoming, what you're willing to believe, and how willing you are to step into the frequency of already having it, already trusting it, already becoming it. Because the truth is, the universe is always listening. The question is, are you finally ready to speak its language? Some people write letters to the universe and tuck them away, holding on to them like sacred reminders of the life they are intentionally creating. Others set them on fire, watching the words turn to ash and drift into the sky, a symbol of surrender, a release of attachment, a deep act of trust in the unseen. The method doesn't matter. Whether you fold your letter into a journal, bury it beneath moonlight, or let it burn, what truly holds power is the energy behind it. That energy, the clarity, the conviction, the emotion infused into your words is what the universe responds to. Because when you write to the universe, you're doing something far more profound than simply stringing thoughts together. You're speaking a language that transcends sound. You're crafting a declaration. You're aligning your entire being with a new frequency. And in doing so, you're shifting your reality in ways that thoughts alone often can't. There's a reason writing has always held such immense power throughout human history. Words have built civilizations, broken empires, shaped laws, and sparked revolutions. They've inspired faith, transformed identities, and connected generations across time. The written word is sacred. It carries weight, intention, and energy. When you write something down, it becomes real. It becomes form. It's no longer just an idea swirling in your mind. It's a vibration crystallized into the physical world. Your letter to the universe is no different. It's not just a hopeful note. It's a sacred contract between you and the infinite intelligence that shapes your reality. And when it's written with unwavering belief, clarity, and emotional resonance, it sets powerful forces in motion. You begin to notice shifts, not just in the external world, but in yourself, in your perception, in your energy. Because something changes the moment you declare your truth and allow the universe to witness it. Now, most people move through life passively. They wait for signs. They wait for luck. They wait for someone else to give them permission to believe. They operate under the illusion that life is happening to them rather than through them. But what they don't realize is that they are already manifesting, already co-creating their experience, whether consciously or not. Every thought they dwell on, every belief they cling to, every emotion they carry, these are all signals being broadcast to the universe. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to what they want, but to who they are being. The real issue isn't whether or not the universe is listening. It always is. The question is, what signal are you sending out? If you live in a loop of doubt, fear, and hesitation, that's the frequency you're aligned with. And the universe will mirror that energy right back to you with perfect precision. It's not punishing you. It's not ignoring you. It's simply responding in full alignment with your current state of being. So if you feel like nothing's happening, if your desires seem delayed or distant, ask yourself, am I embodying the energy of trust or the energy of doubt? Am I living as the version of myself who already has what I desire? Or am I constantly affirming that I don't? Most people don't realize that they're unknowingly sabotaging their own manifestations. They set intentions, visualize, repeat affirmations, and then, in the very next breath, they doubt. They question. They slip back into the energy of lack. They ask, where is it? Not understanding that the very act of questioning is reinforcing the belief that it's not here. And the universe, being a perfect mirror, continues to reflect that belief right back. That's why manifestation is not just about speaking or writing what you want. It's about embodying it. It's about becoming the version of you who already lives in that reality. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you believe, to what you feel, to who you are being. You have to understand that reality doesn't shift when you hope for change. It shifts when you decide. When you stop waiting and start being. When you no longer ask for a sign, but choose to become the sign. When you no longer beg for answers, but trust that the answer lives within you. The universe mirrors certainty. It mirrors conviction. It mirrors the inner knowing that what you've asked for is already unfolding. And when you carry that energy, not just during your morning meditation or while journaling, but in every breath, in every action, in every choice you make, that's when the magic starts happening. But here's the twist that catches most people off guard. Once you've declared your desire and aligned with it, sometimes things get harder. Old patterns resurface. Triggers show up. Doubts you thought you'd buried rise again. And it's easy to think you've done something wrong, that you're being blocked, that maybe the universe didn't hear you after all. But the truth is, it did. You're not being tested. You're being refined. You asked for a higher reality, and the universe is showing you what can't come with you into that version of your life. You're being asked to release, to shed, to clear the old so that the new has room to land. But most people misinterpret this discomfort. They take it as a sign that their manifestation isn't working, and they fall back into old habits of doubt, not realizing that if they just held the vibration a little longer, if they trusted just a bit more, they'd make it through the threshold. This is the secret most people miss. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. When you become someone who trusts deeply, who embodies their vision without needing constant reassurance, who moves through the world with quiet confidence that their desires are already on the way, the universe has no choice but to align with you. That's not magic. That's resonance. That's energetic law. And it's always been that way. The universe is always speaking, always guiding, but it doesn't shout. It whispers. It speaks through synchronicities, those repeating numbers you keep seeing, the phrase you hear 3 times in one day, the person you were just thinking about who suddenly calls. It speaks through gut feelings, sudden clarity, repeated dreams, chance encounters. It's subtle, but it's constant. And most people miss it. Not because the signs aren't there, but because they've trained themselves not to trust their intuition. They expect messages to come wrapped in fireworks and flashing lights, but the universe speaks in vibrations, in nudges, not neon. Sometimes the answer isn't a clear yes or no. Sometimes it's a pause, a redirection, a moment of stillness that feels uncomfortable, but is actually sacred space. Because silence isn't absence, it's space for integration, for clarity, for alignment. But most people don't see that. They assume that if nothing's happening, nothing's working. And that assumption pulls them out of alignment right when they were on the edge of a breakthrough. Another mistake many make is expecting answers to show up in the exact form they imagined. They set such narrow expectations that they miss the very guidance they ask for. They pray for clarity, but ignore the repeated thoughts that nudge them in a new direction. They ask for signs, but overlook the conversation that resonated deeply or the sudden shift in emotion that lit something up inside them. The universe doesn't always deliver your message in the way you expect, but it always delivers what you need. To receive that guidance, you must let go of control. You can't dictate the timeline or micromanage the delivery. Real communication with the universe requires trust, deep, unwavering trust. It means surrendering your need to figure it all out and allowing life to move in divine timing. The more you try to force it, the more resistance you create. The more you trust, the more space you open up for miracles to unfold. And maybe that's the biggest truth of all. The universe isn't separate from you. You are not some powerless being hoping for grace. You are not a beggar waiting for a sign. You are not a passive observer watching life happen. You are a powerful creator. The energy that moves galaxies flows through you. The same intelligence that orchestrates the stars' response to your every vibration. You don't need to wait for permission to step into your power. You already have it. Everything begins to shift the moment you stop asking and start becoming. When you stop seeing your desires as something out there and start aligning with them from within. When you stop trying to attract and start living as if it's already yours. That's the energetic key. That's the magnetic force. That's when the universe starts rearranging everything around you, not because you forced it, but because you became it. Think back to the moments in your life when everything just clicked, when opportunities flowed effortlessly, when you felt deeply aligned and things unfolded perfectly. Those weren't coincidences. Those were moments when your energy was fully aligned with the reality you were stepping into. The only difference between then and now is awareness. And with awareness, you can recreate that alignment on purpose, over and over again. But this isn't a one-time realization. It's a way of being. It's a daily commitment to your inner knowing. A choice you make, not just when things feel good, but especially when they don't. Because that's when your energy matters most. That's when the universe listens closest. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting? To stop doubting? To stop hoping for proof and finally start trusting the process? Because the universe isn't waiting to hear you. It's waiting for you to become. If this message spoke to your soul, let it be the moment everything changes. Comment, I understood it, to anchor it in. And if you're ready for deeper insights, powerful teachings, and real transformation, join us inside Insights Academy, our free newsletter. You'll receive a digital copy of the Kalian, a book of ancient wisdom that will shift how you see reality forever. Because the universe is speaking. And now, finally, you're listening.